Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the roaring sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Hi, I'm Antonio Watts, and I'm delighted to spend a few moments with you to share something very special with you on this 4th of July, 2020. The national anthem for African Americans in this country declares to lift every voice. It's my intention to acknowledge that all across America, in all 50 states, we've witnessed untold millions lifting their voices in protest against police brutality and human indignity and overall systematic racism. For the first time in 155 years, I feel as though our voices are finally being heard in a way that's leaving us looking for ways to effect change in what is now known as the Black Lives Matter movement. As our people continue to march and to protest and to pull down statues and lift our voices to rid this country of every trace of painful, oppressive trauma nefariously designed by America's forefathers, I too would like to lift up a most relevant voice during this very difficult time. Boobs and Brown Skin is a book written by Karrah, Juris Doctorate, and it is an amazingly timely book, released June 1st of 2020, I believe. It's a very short read that I just simply couldn't put down. I was so utterly astonished by how eloquently and succinctly so many of the densely complex truths were just jam-packed into each sentence. I mean, from a literary standpoint, it's totally accessible for all reading levels, yet one can absolutely detect the sophisticated style and the refreshing wit and this rapier intelligence that lends itself to effectively convey some rather difficult subject matters surrounding the conversation of women of color in the United States. Mrs. Herring does a really great job of creating the world of the struggle that African Americans, women in this country have to navigate through. It is written through the perspective of the black female feminist, and she sincerely acknowledges and encourages our beautiful queens to carry on with dismantling the structural racism and sexism wherever it's found. Now, my favorite part about the book is not just its insight into the persistent complaint of racism, which, by the way, people from all backgrounds are going to definitely have a much clearer, much better understanding of our point of view. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, well, my white friends say, I just didn't know that racism was such a problem in America." Well, I think she really does an excellent job of reaching people and helping people to understand our points of view. But moreover, it provides this kind of focus, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the necessary next step as we seek justice and equality in the country. I think that after we finish marching, after we finish protesting, after we get everyone's attention, what we really need is to have this conversation. I mean, this is, and the way it's done is just so brilliant, because the first thing we need to do is be able to have this conversation in our community as African Americans, and then we need to be able to have this conversation with the rest of America. And I just think that Boobs and Brown Skin is it's just the most important book I've come across in 2020, and I think you'll agree with me. So I strongly encourage, especially all of my African American, black and brown kings and queens, to get this book. It is such an incredibly inspiring thing to because it applies not just for women in the workplace, for black women in the workplace, but for all of us who, have to deal with the skin that we show up in the room with. And I just think it's so brilliantly done. I also think that, I have had a lot of white friends and allies write to me and call me and say, oh my goodness, isn't this terrible? How can I, join the movement? I want to be anti-racist, and to you guys, I would say, yeah, I get it. One of the ways that you can help support is to get this book and support a black author. It's only $15. I think an additional $3 for shipping and handling. And I also understand you can get it on Amazon.com for less than that. It comes as a, you can get it into your tablet or smart device. And so I just think we should lift each other up. I'm lifting up Karrah Herring in this book, Boobs and Brown Skin. It's a really terrific book, and one that will help I think it's really the catalyst that can help us to march on until victory is won. So again, I'm Antonio Watts. Thank you so much for sharing a few moments with me as we get to talk just a little bit about boobs and brown skin. I wish you all to be safe, and always remember to love God and love each other. Take care.